It's time for the press preview. A first look at what's on the front pages just as they arrive. Let's take a look at this day newspaper, our sister publication, and the leading story there: 34 senior lawyers mount defense for Deborah's suspected killers in court. Let's take some riders there. Tambuwal releases curfew in Sokoto, warns against breach of law. And Southern Middle Belt Alliance demands prosecution of perpetrators, condemns destruction of Muslim youths. The leading photo there, caption: First Lady's Peace Mission Building gets documents. Let's take one more headline. 2023, silver talent back out of political ambitions, retain ministerial positions. And a rider there, Amechi forges ahead with presidential race, resigns ministerial post.
The Punch newspaper is leading with timetable. INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, talks tough as 18 parties fail to conduct primaries. There's no going back on election timetable. June the 3rd is the deadline. That's according to INEC. And a dollar hits 600 naira at Paolo Market. Foreign exchange supply shrinks. That report is on page 22. And fraud. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in Nigeria has arrested the Accountant General. It's alleging 80 billion naira has been diverted. And ASU, ex-minister, fought state varsities, and protests rocked the Southwest and Edo State.
All right, let's look at the Nation newspaper. Its headline, it says the FCC arrests federal government's top accountant over 80 billion naira fraud. It has a rider or two there. Money laundering in real estate suspected. AGF faces allegation of overstaying in office. And then, well, this paper is reporting that silver talent up not to resign. I don't think that is particularly correct. Supreme Court to hear appeal on Section 8412 on Thursday. You can find this on page 27 of the Nation newspaper. And Osun voters can be bought. This is coming from the governor, Oyetola. He replies, Adeleke, the federal government blames tax exemption for revenue loss. You can find those on page 6 and 7. And just down there, the pictures you're watching, ASU strike, students protest in Ondo, Oyo, and Ogun State. You can find that on page 4 of this paper. INEC gives APC, PDP, others deadlines. Two riders. Parties inform agency of convention venues and dates. Delegates list to be submitted 7 days to primaries. This is for the Nation newspaper.
The Daily Sun this morning leading with the ASU strike. Chaos as angry students shut highways. There are some stranded commuters on the Benin, Shagamu, Ilesha, Akure, and other expressways. ASU strike disrupts academic activities in polytechnics. And just above, beside the nameplate of the Daily Sun, Anambra boils as gunmen killed 2 soldiers and security men. You can find that on page 4.
The international papers, now the Times. Petrol firm profiteers failed to pass on duty cut.
All right, the I, bold there, I don't want to lie anymore. What is this about? 17-year-old Jake Daniels comes out as UK's only openly gay male footballer. Teenage striker hopes to inspire Premier League stars. I am happy to be myself. Just 2 of the riders concerning this story there.
The Daily Express headline here: apocalyptic warning over food prices. The Bank of England governor admits he is, in quote, helpless in the fight against inflation. And another headline here: Downton Abbey goes uptown for American premiere.
And bank chiefs, the Guardian newspaper, the Guardian, bank chiefs warning over apocalyptic food prices. And the picture of Daniel there announced the time. Daniel's the first UK footballer in decades to come out as gay.
All right, Financial Times, and then we'll go to Emmanuel Bello. He says Bali deflects blame for soaring inflation on to global stocks. Emmanuel, glad to have you join us this morning. Hello, Emmanuel. Good morning to you. All right, is there? Well, this is serious. 34 senior lawyers mount defense for Deborah's suspected killers in court. What's your sense of this? I mean, the parents have come out to say, we'll leave this to God, and nobody has spoken to us from the government.
Well, good morning. What you get is a sense that, so these killers actually have, supporters, and not just supporters at the low level, but even at the highest level of jurisprudence, lawyers, 34 of them, coming out to defend murder, defend, the recklessness and the brutality and the inhumanity that everyone is crying about. What are they? Of course, lawyers defend everything. They go to court over every kind of issue and all that, and you cannot deny a citizen of their rights to defense. But this is actually galling, and this is something. It's not going to reading this news doesn't give you any form of comfort. It doesn't bring a closure to a very terrible thing. We went through the weekend, and all that is on our mind is Deborah. She could be anybody to you. She could be your sister. She could be your friend. She could be your daughter. She could be, for so many people, all they see is the faces of their loved ones, and then to have some people defending the killers, it's just deepening the emotional crisis that we find ourselves since the Deborah saga happened. And this is one, of course, not new, but this is it goes right to the heart of the matter. Maybe also because we're in the middle of a presidential election where religious tolerance, the issue of competencies, and the issue of even the unity of the country itself is at stake. So this particular murder really, up the ante and bring to the front burner all the issues. Also, you see in this, apart from the jurisprudence and the arguments, and we're going to watch what sort of argument these lawyers are going to put forward. How do you defend murder? How do you defend recklessness? How do you defend people who were actually, we said yesterday when Nkechi was discussing this, we said, look, we need to see justice done. And not just a figment of it, not just a symbolism of it, not just, a lip service kind of justice, but when everybody needs to see some justice done. When we saw images of those people in court, or even them being paraded, one of them actually peeing his pants, it raised some hope that, okay, there's going to be justice finally for this, because I don't even know, I'm not a lawyer, but I don't know what kind of law, what kind of defense these lawyers will be putting up, because in a democracy, when you murder anyone, when you kill anyone so brazenly, there are consequences for it. Those are some of the issues that this Deborah saga has brought up, both from the religious, from the legal angle, even the political. The fact that, for instance, people are worried that Atiku deleted those tweets and it's not even showing any remorse. Yesterday in Jos, he ordered journalists out of a room and said that he has no business with journalists. Apparently, really still angry that we called it out, and we're still calling it out. Some people, we noted yesterday, this paper noted those who are keeping mum over the issue. It's a situation that has actually questioned the courage of many, even the decency and, of course, the principle of so many people. There are people who have chosen to keep quiet. Their silence is not helping. Those who have spoken out have been seen as very, very courageous people. The Islamic cleric Gumi yesterday, who spoke so flowingly about this, so clearly about this, and said, look, this is not Islam. This does not represent us. A lot of people give him some applause for saying those things. So Deborah matter is actually like a turning point. It's a litmus test now for courage, for decency, for principle, for actually how you view the world. It's becoming the barometer, the thermometer to test all of that, and that is why I think it's still in the front page and will probably be in the front page for such a long time.
You can be angry all he wants. The journalist will have to do their work. That's the simple truth. But on the case of the law courts, all they need really is an iota of doubt. That's what, everybody should be defended in court, whether you killed somebody or not. But all they need is a tiny little bit of doubt, and that's it. We'll see what gives.
Definitely, and we hope this is followed through. Now, let's take a look at a breaking story that came out last night on the Nation's newspaper. It's leading with that story. The EFCC arrested the Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, over an allegation of 80 billion naira fraud. And as at last night, he was being questioned at the EFCC headquarters. Emmanuel, what are your thoughts on this breaking story?
Well, I think it's going to send shock waves around the country. I mean, the man in question does not even cut the image of the kind of bad guys we're talking about. You look at him, he looks like somebody who. But then this is coming out now, and the first thoughts that crossed my mind was that, okay, really, you too? And well, of course, people talk about media trial. They talk about, but this is part of the problem. This is how endemic the crisis of corruption is. The Accountant General is supposed to be the conscience of finances in this country. He's supposed to account for every kobo that's making its way out. I mean, that's why you have an Accountant General, you see. But now look at the crisis that you are faced with. He's being accused. At this point, of course, they say it's alleged, and it's an interesting story, and I think one will stay on it. Another aspect of the story was that the EFCC has been actually, even inviting him to privately to question him on those things, and he rejected all sorts of invitations, so they have to pounce on him. It's a very, very interesting story. No wonder it's made it run to all the newspaper carrying the story, because it doesn't get bigger than that at this time that the regime is getting all sort of cornered on all sort of areas, especially issue of security, the problem of corruption. Remember that this president actually ran on anti-corruption, and of course he would like to do everything as he's buying out in these fading days of this regime to show that the anti-corruption drive is still on. This probably is just one of them.
Let's look at other stories. The violence in the southeast. One of the papers is saying Anambra boils. This is the Daily Sun. Anambra boils, the southeast Anambra state, as gunmen kill 2 soldiers, a security man. They kidnapped a lawmaker and they've burnt a local government secretariat. Emmanuel, over the weekend we saw pictures of the governor of that state, Anambra, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, pictures of him with the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra. First question, should he have engaged in that photo op, giving the cases and the allegations against Nnamdi Kanu? And shouldn't the Southeastern governors at this point match firepower with firepower?
Well, Kenneth, that's the $1 million question, and you put it so aptly well that did Soludo really need that picture? But of course, Soludo, even at his inauguration, sounded so optimistic. He sounded like, look, I've got the answer to this problem. Let me just, work very closely with IPOB. Let me understand their agitation. If I understand their agitation, if we dialogue enough with them, maybe we'll solve the problem. But now we have a Frankenstein monster on our hands. Even with him tweeting out after that meeting with Nnamdi Kanu that, well, Nnamdi Kanu is vexed, is sad over the killings and all of that. He didn't stop it. It's almost like a rebuke, as if they were rebuking him, as if Nnamdi actually, didn't say what he said, that we don't believe that our leader was the one that said it. But then the other thing is to find out, is Nnamdi Kanu actually the leader of the unknown gunmen? Can he actually just stop them? What was Soludo hoping to get from that meeting? Well, and Soludo has always been in the forefront of trying to say, look, if we dialogue well with this separatist group and everything. And that's the heart of the matter. These people that Soludo think he's talking to are saying that, look, we want a nation of our own. In essence, they don't even actually also believe in the election that produced him, or the oath is sworn or the allegiance is sworn to the federal government. That is the contradiction that Soludo we have to deal with. So going to meet Nnamdi, doing those photo ops, and from the stories we are hearing, they didn't really solve a lot of problem. So maybe Soludo will have to really reconsider his strategy, because he believes so strongly that, look, if I talk to the separatist group leader, if I understand his position, if we talk some more, if we call for his release and we do all of those things, maybe these troubles will stop. But then who knows whether there's been an infiltration, because right after that meeting, with those pictures that you think that, okay, Soludo at least hoped that they will help solve the problem, we saw an escalation. It escalated back home. It didn't resonate very well at that base. So he might have to reconsider the strategy. Probably dialogue is not really working now, and it's not really working out. And then every Monday you have those sit-at-homes, and then you have a repeat of some of those stories. So it's a serious problem. Maybe it's more than just having some dialogue. Maybe it's more than just a visit, and it's more than just a photo op for Soludo, who at inauguration was really hopeful that, look, he can get it done. Even during his campaign, he was consistent. During his media, chats, during the debates, he was so clear about it that, look, it's a problem he knows how to deal with. And that if he dialogue very well with these people, things are going to work out. But it's amazing that after those pictures, like you say, Kenneth, nothing really gave. The needle did not shift a bit. So he may need to, rethink his strategy towards lasting peace in Anambra State. Because without that, his glorious agenda, and all of us applauded his ideas, especially how to revamp the economy of Anambra. We're beginning to look at Anambra as going to be the centerpiece of good governance and responsible leadership and all of that. If it doesn't get the issue of security in place, especially those attacks from IPOB, from unknown gunmen and the rest, it's going.
Well, thank you so much, Emmanuel Bello. It's a question of leadership. Soludo is one person who has come out to say you don't cloak rascality, you don't cloak rascality with the cloak agitation, with the cloak of criminal. You don't cloak criminality with the cloak of rebellion. That's what Soludo says, and it's showing. All right, thank you so much, Emmanuel Bello. That's the price.